Hello everyone, I'm Tehseen Khan, your course teacher. Today I wish to explain to you contents of practical number 11, principles of effective communication. So students, let's get started. For any effective communication, there are certain principles which govern it. And these principles make any communication event successful, meaningful and effective. Hence, let's see what are those principles of communication one needs to consider while sending or receiving messages. Principles of communication. We have 7 C's of effective communication. Let's see one by one. First one is principle of correctness. Code. Code is oral or written words, signs, symbols, colors, medium or channel through which messages are passed on in communicating event. It should be appropriate. As a sender, one needs to think of oral or written word, channel, it can be the mail, it can be face-to-face oral communication, it can be again PowerPoint presentation, it can be messages sent via fax. So the sender needs to understand first which is the appropriate medium or the channel through which messages are passed on in communication. After selecting correct medium channel, one should also think of structurally and grammatically correct sentences. Whether you write something and share with others, or you say something and convey to others, it has to be grammatically correct. So there will be no barrier in such sort of communication. The next one we have is principle of completeness. Of course, any communication must be complete. Messages which are passed on during any communication must give complete meaning to the receivers. Then only receivers are ready for the positive feedback. Complete here means that after communicating in a situation, one should not feel that there is something amiss, something which is remaining. Whatever the sender wishes to convey must be complete. And what happens when complete messages are sent across to the receivers? There are hardly any barriers found in that communication, and communication turns out to be effective. For example, if teacher wishes to conduct extra lecture, a well written notice, okay, mentioning the time and name of the subject and which topic, with the theory or practical, which day and date, if it is properly mentioned, then there is no room for the students to raise any query and message will be complete. Then the next one we have is principle of conciseness. Concise is to be brief or terse. Whether we speak out in the form of communication or we write words and send messages to the receivers, in whichever form communication is, it has to be brief, terse, to the point. Okay, messages should not be lengthy. Even if you are talking to other person, you should not use long sentences, complex sentences that could create a problem or hindrance in communication. Same goes with the piece of writing. If you are conveying something with the help of written words, but if the sentences are too lengthy or complex and the vocabulary is advanced, then your receivers will find it difficult to understand. Even parenthetic and rambling messages. Parenthetic is something we write in bracket to give more, additional information to your message. Please avoid that. As a sender, if we are going to do that, then that snatches away the beauty and crisp of communication. What do you want to say? You have to be clear and precise. So, selection of the vocabulary should be such that messages are precise as well as meaningful. So, it is said that business communication should be simple and straightforward, so that business activities are carried on and carried out easily. The next principle I have for you is principle of clarity. Of course, messages must be clear. Once there is a clarity about messages in the mind of the sender will clearly put across messages to the receivers. So, clarity in the mind of the sender and both receivers are necessary. And that clarity could be achieved in the form of objective. The sender should know what is the purpose of communication, what he or she wants to speak to the receivers. Then second one is language. Okay, which sort of words, which sort of vocabulary will be used during communication. It should be simple, clear and straightforward. Whether it is body language or oral or written words, it should be clear. Then the channel or the medium which will be used in the communication process must be clear. Okay, must be known to the receivers. So again, it depends upon the sender and the expertise of sender to choose proper and appropriate channel. Okay, whether to teach something on PowerPoint, whether to demonstrate something, or whether role play must be organized and arranged to convey a few messages. So, clarity helps minimize barriers to communication. The next one we have is principle of courtesy. Courtesy means politeness. One should be courteous enough. The sender and receivers both must be courteous in communication. Harsh language or admonishing people or disrespecting somebody's opinion or belief is something which must be avoided like a plague in any effective communication. Mind you, students, one has to be courteous in sending messages. Your attitude, your tone, your words will definitely attract audience. You take your audience into confidence that whatever you are saying is correct, and whatever they are answering is also correct. If they are wrong, there is a way to tell them that whatever you are thinking, the direction in which you are thinking is not correct over here. Correct them, but with politeness. Attitude of the sender is important. If the attitude is friendly, receivers will come out with innovative ideas, and they will reciprocate to your message, and you will receive positive feedback. Because communication is a two-way process, sender must encourage receivers to speak out, okay, to respond. Otherwise it will be one-sided affair. Only sender is speaking and receivers are listening. So that's the bad communication anytime. Next one is principle of control. When we use the term control, we think of somebody at the higher position and some people are working at the lower position. Yes, you got it right. At workplace there has to be a control. If there is no control, then everybody would be behaving in their own way. So there has to be manager, there has to be supervisor, there has to be worker, there has to be administrative department, and each and every person must know their roles and responsibility. And when messages flow from higher level of authority, from horse's mouth, that is authoritative people, then the people working at subordinate level listen to it, take those messages seriously. If there is no control, if none is the boss, if none is the subordinate, then it will be a chaos in the organization. Then the last one we have is principle of coordination. Again, it is caring and sharing. No single department of the company, of the organization, of the institute for the matter of fact, can claim that it is the only department which is important for the companies or institutes progress. No, there are many departments working together in company. They work in harmony and sync, and there by the company can achieve its objective, and company flourishes within no time. So there are many departments who need to actually work in coordination, in sync with each other. So communication links various departments in an organization. So it is termed as the lifeline of the organization. One department speaks with another, another will send messages to the other department, and this is how with together with the a complete sync, all departments in coordination work together and help industry to grow and flourish. I hope this were all principles of effective communication I wanted to convey with this PPT today. I hope students you all understood it. Now it's a time for goodbye. Meeting you with the next topic of practical in next PPT. Till that time, take care, stay home, stay safe. Goodbye everyone.